Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. I'm your host, CRUSTY CANUCK, on this beautiful 6th of December. Yes, I know I had a podcast 2 days ago, and I tried to do a live feed last night, but due to technical difficulties, things just went to crap. So I'm going to call this episode Two-Faced Trudy Part 2. All that and more coming up in the CRUSTY CANUCK podcast. Stay tuned.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am back for another quick episode of the CRUSTY CANUCK podcast on this beautiful 6th of December, 2019. Yes, and I'm going to call this episode Two-Faced Trudy Part 2, based on what we've seen on the throne speech that we had recently, and more of the gun dilemma brought to us by Mr. Bill Blair and his infinite wisdom. Yeah, that piece of crap. So, firstly, I want to apologize to everybody who tried to tune into my live feed last night. My apologies. I had some technical difficulties. The camera was ready to go. I had a list of topics I was going to discuss, and I was actually on for about maybe 15 minutes. A couple people showed up that I noticed in the chat board, and then everything froze. My image froze, the recording froze, my emails froze, everything. So I tried rebooting the system, restarting everything from scratch, and unfortunately my camera was not working. So my apologies to those individuals that came out to say hello, to watch the show, or just observe in their own way. My apologies. I will try to definitely get a live Q&A again in the near future. Basically, I was going to set up and ask me whatever you want, anything in regards to politics, history, military stuff, and life in general. And I was going to open the door up for people just to get to know me a bit more. But unfortunately, I guess the cyber gods were not on my side. Anyhow, that being said, once again, my apologies. And I call this Two-Faced Trudy Part 2 because after watching the throne speech, I was... I don't know what to say. You can check all the Facebook links and everything. I'm going to add a couple of links here. Some of the things Bill Blair has said in regards to gun control and to what our beautiful sock boy and Ms. Payette has said for the throne speech of this government that took him about a month and a half to get together after such a shitty election. According to the National Post, let's see. Throne speech touts spirit of collaboration in new parliament, but to opposition it's not good enough. Andrew Scheer called it an insult to the people of Alberta and Saskatchewan because the speech didn't address the tough times in the energy sector. And rightfully, I don't blame him. Right? So this comes from a Brian Platt, so I'll make sure I put the link there at the end of this podcast. Ottawa, a new minority parliament opened on Thursday with a throne speech from the Liberals that emphasized collaboration that was immediately attacked as an insult to the West by Conservatives. Finding common ground, forging bonds and working together, quote-unquote, the speech said. It is that distinctly Canadian spirit of collaboration that the government and this parliament will build on progress of the last mandate and deliver a better Canada for all Canadians. Okay, well, they were saying that before, back in 2015, and let's look at the Liberal track record, shall we? The Liberal track record. Yes. The budget will balance itself. Oh, we're going to pull our troops out of Syria, not bomb any more ISIS, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and, you know, we're going to have prosperity, sunny ways, right? Yeah, whatever. But Conservative leader Andrew Scheer called it an insult to people of Alberta and Saskatchewan because the speech didn't address the tough times in the energy sector, and he vowed to amend the speech in Parliament and debate it. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh said the speech was not good enough, pointing to the lack of details about a national pharmacare program, and it sounds like they're moving backwards on pharmacare. If they want our support, they've got to work for it, Singh said. They've added he'll wait for more discussion before deciding whether to oppose it. So, considering they're a minority government, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have some friction with the Conservatives, and I'm kind of anxious to see what's going to happen. So, there's a tweet here. I'm not going to read that. I'll let you guys read it yourselves. But there appears to be little danger of the speech failing to pass, as Bloc Québécois leader François Blanchet said he would vote in favor because he saw opportunities to make gains for Quebec. Blanchette added that it was easier for him to vote in favor because there was nothing specifically about oil in this speech. Of course, Quebec, he doesn't like oil, but he loves oil money. Go figure. Oh, man. Okay. The Liberals only need to support, Liberals only need the support of one of the Conservatives, NDP or Bloc, to get the House of Commons vote passed. The speech, written by Prime Minister's office and delivered by Governor General Julie Payette in a packed Senate chamber, ran for a half hour and largely contained a rundown of Liberal election promises. It opened with an intergalactic flourish provided by Payette, the former astronaut appointed to the vice-regal role in 2017. And this is her quote, ladies and gentlemen. "We know that we are inextricably bound to the same space-time continuum and on board the same planetary spaceship," she told parliamentarians. "If we put our brains and smarts and altruistic capabilities together, we can do a lot of good." Okay. This is one of those moments where you kind of pause, you look, and you reach out and you cuff somebody. You know what I mean? What the fuck is that? Intergalactic flourish. Inextricably bound to the same space-time continuum. Really? What is this? A science fiction convention? Or politics? Like, I like Star Wars. I like Star Trek. Hell, I've been a Trekkie most of my natural life. But I know the difference between what's real and what's not real. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard coming out of a politician's mouth. Next to, the budget will balance itself. Like, I appreciate the optimism, but crack won't smoke itself, ladies and gentlemen. You know. Payette was reusing the same space-time continuum line that she said in her installation speech on October 2nd, 2017. Space-time continuum. And where's my phasers? Ooh, jeez. God. Oh. Okay. So I'm just having a... 4 things worth noticing in the throne speech the Liberals prepare for life in minority government. Liberal MP Anthony Rota explained... Liberal MP Anthony Rota elected the Speaker. You're welcome, Conservatives say. Right now, the Liberals are getting it wrong on Liberal views. The Tories could get it right. The speech, as expected, heading to a minority parliament situation, called on MPs and senators to cooperate in behalf of Canadians. Okay, they basically sum it up. They're looking to cut taxes, and they're looking to stop spending here and stop spending there. And they're going to help middle class out and bring in pharmacare and bring all these wonderful things. Oh, free stuff, free stuff, free stuff for all. And yet they have intentionally fucked the middle class. They have intentionally screwed small businesses because of Monore's infinite wisdom. Him saying shit like small businesses are tax havens. And yet how many tax havens has he created with his family fortune and the fortune of his loving wife, Miss McCain French Fryer Empress herself, right? We don't think about that kind of shit, do we? And to get back to what Trudeau was saying at the NATO summit, sitting there being caught like a little school kid talking behind someone's back. Okay, I admit Donald Trump's kind of goofy, but he's a businessman and he's got things done. Okay? Trudeau forgets that his family business came from the oil in the ground. That's how the Trudeaus made their fortune. His daddy spent a lot of money, and he's spending a lot of money. Unfortunately, JT likes to spend other people's money in the name of diversity and progress, right? To me, ladies and gentlemen, this throne speech is nothing but just fucking word salad. Like it's, you know, the mandate of this recent election is the starting point, not the final word. The government is open to new ideas from all parliamentarians, stakeholders, public servants, and Canadians. I think Canadians should be on top of that list. Fuck your stakeholders. Fuck the public servants. How about Canadians as a whole, people you represent? Hey, there's an idea. Ideas like universal dental care are worth exploring, and I encourage Parliament to look into this, the speech said, giving a nod to the NDP election plank. Great. Okay, well, you get free anything, taxes go up right there. Climate change, middle class finances, Indigenous reconciliation, and healthcare all got dedicated sections in the speech, giving indication that Liberals will be most focused on this session. Well, that was the Liberal promise back in 2015 to make sure that no reservation had dirty water. And yet, what fucking changes have come around to help these people with their water crisis? Here, have some bottled fucking water. Brilliant, eh? Fuck's sakes. Oh, God. A clear majority of Canadians voted ambitious climate action now. Bullshit. The majority of Canadians voted conservative. You know, yes, they want climate action, but not the way you guys are fucking emphasizing it. You know, it promised to set a target of net zero carbon emissions by 2050 and to continue to lead ensuring a price on pollution everywhere in this country. Okay, so put a price on the people that put raw sewage into the rivers and into the lakes, like La Belle Province and like Ontario, and like all the major cities around every major waterway in this country, and then we'll start fucking buying your climate action plan. Okay? Well, the government's first action, however, will be able to cut legislation promised during the campaign. This plan will increase the basic personal exemption by $2,000, meaning the first $15,000 of income won't be taxed federally for people earning less than $147,000 annually. Well, that's great, you know, because the majority of Canadians aren't earning $147,000. Okay, but you're still going to find a way to tax people who are making less than that. They always have, via gasoline, via the heating costs, and our grocery list. Wankers. Well, fuck. The speech also highlighted plans to give more assistance to first-time home buyers, increasing spending on affordable housing, and to cut the cost of cell phone plans by 25%. Oh, for fuck's sakes. You know, the Harper government tried that before, too, and that got shut down. Come on. You know, really, you know. On reconciliation, the speech promised to introduce legislation within a year to implement the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous Rights. Okay, I'm getting sick and tired of hearing the UN. I'm not going to bother. You guys can read that if you want. The UN, to me, is not a force for good. Never has been. You know, good intentions, but they've paid the roads to hell. So, as for firearms policy, the speech cited the Liberal campaign promise to ban military-style assault rifles, including a buyback program, and to allow municipalities to institute their own handgun bans. Okay. They banned guns in Britain, and they still have gun crime. They banned guns in Australia, they have gun crime. And they're trying to ban guns in New Zealand, and they're still having gun crime. They tried banning booze in the 1920s. How did that work out? Honestly, you know, military style. If it looks like a military gun, it's bad. But if it looks like a hunting rifle, it's good to go? Or is that going to be bad too? Which is it, Bill Blair? Which is it, Liberal Party? Shit or get off the pot. Okay? Like, I'm just, fuck. Oh, man, I just keep thinking about that comment, starship, planetary spaceship. Fucking sci-fi geeks calling the shots. Jesus Christ. And a buyback program, really? So you're going to charge more of the taxpayers' money, giving out more of the taxpayers' money for what? Right? I'm not giving up my guns. I don't care what you say. I'll gladly serve time before I give up my firearms. And I'm not saying to be a flag-waving Canadian patriot here. It's principle. It's my property. I did the time to take the training, to learn the courses, to teach others in the same sense, and to show others and educate others, and you're not going to take it away because you're scared. Bite me. You know? Anyway, it goes on and on and on about the pharmacare thing. The speech will now be debated in Parliament, possibly in the next 2 or 3 days, and the Conservatives are already promising to try to amend it. The amendment will highlight the things that we believe should have been in the speech. Scheer told reporters, he said, speech including nothing about protecting Canada from possible economic downturn, nothing about energy workers in Alberta and Saskatchewan, or forestry workers in British Columbia, and most probably nothing really on national unity. And he's got a valid point. You know, what do these clowns say about unity? Have they tried to discuss anything about unity? You know, they're too busy sidestepping and, you know, trying to scrape the barrel for longevity. A bunch of clowns, you know. Conservative MP Michelle Rempel vented her frustration on Twitter after the speech. The space-time continuum and Spaceship Earth got more airtime in detail in Trudeau's list of priorities for Canada than the workers in my province. And she's right. You know, these clowns are sitting there looking up to the fucking stars, smoking crack and other people's dope, and expecting magical things to happen. You know, all combustible engines going to run on fucking pixie dust. All factories going to run on magical unicorn fairies and magical unicorn shit, right? So I'm saying, folks, to my listeners and fans out there alike, you know, we got more and more of this bullshit lingering around the corners. We have people on one hand who say they're doing good things for the government by protecting us, And we got Mr. Bill Blair in his infant wisdom. Oh, we're going to ban handguns municipally or on municipal thing, or ban this and ban that. Banning things does not prove that you're into public safety. Banning something means you're afraid, okay? And we all know gun crime in this country, okay, is due to people acquiring illegal firearms. That doesn't mean someone has a PAL card or an RPAL and goes to Joe Blow down the road when he buys a bag of weed and then throws a couple of grand or $3,000 at someone for an illegal pistol, okay? Every article I've read in regards to someone purchasing an illegal firearm, one, does not have the license or documentation to back it up, and two, very well knows what he or she is doing once buying said illegal firearm. So, we're getting more lackadaisical leadership in a minority government, and I really hope that the Conservatives and the oppositions alike challenge this creed and challenge these shitheads. Enough is enough. Anyway, tell me what you think. You can reach me at CrustyBCanuck67 at gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook under Krusty Canuck, on Instagram at Canuck Krusty, and here on the Podbean and YouTube, respectively. And this deal is still open. If you donate $5 or $10 a month to any of my Subscribestar or my Patreon channel or my Patreon channel, I will guarantee that you get yourself a free t-shirt of your choice from my Teespring line. I'll leave all the links at the bottom of this podcast. And if you like what you hear and see, please comment, subscribe, click like, and share it around. Right? I recently just gave $500 to the Veterans Association Food Bank, and I will still leave a link at the bottom of this podcast so you can donate on your own free will if you like, or just check them out. They do wonderful things. They help veterans out in times of need with groceries, job skills. They actually employ a couple of veterans, as far as I know. They build ramps for wheelchair and for disabled vets alike, and they're a good pillar of the community down in Calgary there, and they do wonderful things for vets and people alike. So, by all means, check them out. And if you want to donate them directly, if you give them $25 or more, they will mail you a receipt or email you a receipt, your donation, and it comes in handy come tax time. So, that being said, carrying on with Two-Faced Trudy, Part 2. Yep, he just sat there, of course, with his legs crossed, looking off into space with Miss Payette and full agreeance, you know, promoting the old word salad dogma, of course, you know. And between that story and the whole Trump calling him a two-faced thing, proof's in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen, and yet the city of Toronto, Ottawa, and greater parts of Montreal voted that party in again. And for what? For what? Okay? Parts of Newfoundland, parts of Nova Scotia. You know, Liberals doing a great job. Yeah, okay. Sure they are. More little dictators telling us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and how to think while we're doing it too. Right? Which brings me to my next point, that Jessica Yaniv, or Jonathan Yaniv character again. I'll leave a link to his, the latest story of him going to a gynecologist and being turned away because he just didn't have the parts, you know, and people making a stink about it, you know, people backing him up. Oh my God, you know, like, oh, what's wrong? Like, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe live and let live. You know, I've said that before numerous times in episodes, and I've said, if I disagree with somebody, you know, I'll still fight for your right to say what you want to say. But between our government and this social justice bullshit that we're facing every goddamn day, doesn't matter if you turn on the television, if you surf the net, open up a newspaper, a magazine, there's always some little hint of somebody wants to change the narrative because they're offended, you know. And this clown, he's going to court right now for having a illegal weapon, having a taser, right? He's going to court facing charges for that. And then, of course, he tweets out how it's illegal for gynecologists to deny him service. I didn't read the whole tweet. I don't give a shit because I'm so tired of this SJW garbage. You know, they call him an activist, and he's just a shit disturber, you know. It's a he. I'll call him a he. He does, you know, care how he identifies. He could be a fucking tree in the ground. I could care less. You know, I don't know what to say. I'll leave a link to his story at the end of this podcast here, but I know I've talked about him before. You know, the whole wax my balls or else routine, and he's just constantly sucking up the fame. You know, why we give him attention? I don't know. You know, it's just stupidity. You know, it takes away the real strife that some trans people are going through. You know, and I'm talking legitimate trans people, people who really, really identify and have that downright soul feeling of who they are. You know, but I don't know what to say to this clown. Just get off my porch, basically. Get off my lawn. You know, whatever. Get away from me. But with our politicians, too, catering and bow-towing to all this SJW mandate. Shitstorms are brewing, folks, and we're going to have to be ready for it. So let's hope the opposition takes this party for a run and starts sorting them out. You know, and it's not just Trudeau that's two-faced. It's the whole fucking party, right? I've said this before in my last episode, you know. McKenna's now the infrastructure minister. Now she's all for pipelines. Yeah, a year ago she was dead against it, right? And Krista Freeland, the pint-sized cunt, to quote a friend of mine, you know, she doing Trudeau's dirty work. And she's definitely not qualified for that either, too. So, I don't know. It's a shit show, folks. And it's time we pick up our shovels and start digging through it. It's a bit of reality, but hey, let's get it done. Anyhow, once again, I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for lackluster performance last night. Trying to get my live feed up and running, trying to get everything on the go. But no, I had to say something. And after watching the news the past couple of days, I just had to get here and say something. This is just fucking ridiculous. You know, these clowns calling the shots, you know, in the name of security and in the name of the environment. And they're ripping us off, and we're being lied to. Being told we can't have guns. We can spend money on gas, but it's going to cost us. We can spend money on home heating. It's going to cost us. Groceries are going to go up. Yeah, I'm well aware the cost of living goes up every year, but these clowns are taking it for what it is, taking it for a ride, right? New cabinet positions were created, you know, to bridge the gap between the middle class, and there shouldn't be a fucking gap, right? There shouldn't be positions appointed to understand us, right? You should understand. You should have an understanding of us, right? But the moment you speak out against that, or the moment you stand up and you wave the flag, oh my God, you're a fascist. Oh my God, you're a racist. Oh my God, you're such misogynists. No. My wife's a great lady. I love her dearly. If I was a sexist pig, she wouldn't be with me. My sisters are great ladies. They're strong women. They've been through fucking hell and back. And they're great ladies. And they can tell you, I'm not a sexist, misogynist pig. No. My father worked all his fucking life. Right? He worked every job he could. Not only was he a firefighter, but he was also a carpenter. He was also a deck builder. He painted houses. You know, he worked and worked and worked. And now he's living a good life, right? But he had to sacrifice some things. I had to sacrifice some things. I did 20 years of service. In the last part of my career, you know, Mr. Ugly PTSD came back to say hello. And it affected me. So, when someone tells me I'm a misogynist, or I am a racist, or I'm a bigot, guess again, fucky. Nothing wrong with being a patriot, folks. Nothing wrong with standing up for what's right. And nothing wrong with standing on guard for thee. Especially when you got these clowns calling the shots. So, my advice, keep speaking out. Keep questioning the authority. Question the status quo. Get out there. Do the best you can to set a better example than these fucking clowns. Anyhow, I've been Krusty CANUCK. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me at krustybcanuck67@gmail.com. Or you can find me on the Facebook at Krusty CANUCK, on the Instagram at Canuck Krusty, or here on the Podbean and YouTube respectively. So please, if you like what you hear and see, click comment, like, and subscribe, and share around. If you'd like to engage me in any kind of debate, feel free to ask me a question or two. But if you come on board any of my profiles and you just start throwing crap at me, I'm just going to delete you. I got no time for any more drama. I got no more time for the trendy buzzwords. If you got something to say, say it. But if you're going to engage me in debate, then debate. Don't start an argument, because you'll lose. and I just won't pay attention to it. I'll just, however, anyhow, I've been Krusty Canuck on this beautiful 6th of December, 2019. 'Tis the season. I will say Merry Christmas and Happy Festivus and Happy Winter Solstice, right? And do you can to help people out in this time of need. Maybe an extra can of food, a food bank, or maybe buy a bag of groceries for somebody, or get a couple extra toys for those kids that you know down the street that don't have much. I know my wife and I are going to be doing some of that this year. But, tis the season, folks. Anyway, do what you can to help each other out. Look after your loved ones. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equal.